Bali.
Exciting place that's definitely popping up on the map. Obviously, it's been exciting for tourists for such a long time, but elements for people that want to build businesses there, whether it's digitally or boots on the ground, it's really, really inspiring what's happening over there.
My experience in the week that I was there, definitely being around, like you can go to different areas, right? You can go down to Kuta, you can be around all those typical Aussies. But then when you go to different areas, there are definitely other people there that are of the mindset of business, taking care of their body, taking care of their mind. Found it really easy to get a lot of work done with those people I was hanging out with. Very focused, very zeroed in, and then the right conversations with those people, which funnily enough had me wanting to go to the gym in the morning, had me wanting to go do the cold plunge pools. And then, as you're well aware of, on my day one of my trip to Bali was the end of my 4 months of not drinking. But then, because of the people I was hanging out with and the drive of those people, I actually didn't end up drinking because I was still focused on my business and my progress. It was a really cool place to get a lot done and be focused in.
Yeah, because there's so many people in the environment that are focusing on similar things. They're focusing on their health, focusing on their business, ultimately focusing on their success and their results. And naturally we feed off that with one another. And you can experience both lifestyles as someone who was a little bit of a hermit. I did stay in a little bit too much. It was great for my business success, but I also felt that isolation. And something that you taught me when we were there with how easy it is to connect with other people and simply have a conversation, start engaging, seeing what they're up to and
Yeah, and look, it's one of the like I found it a lot easier to start over in Bali and then probably anywhere else, or Sydney or anywhere else. Everyone's eyes down, 9 to 5, very zeroed in. If you smile at someone, they're like, "What are you smiling at?" But over there, you would see someone and would say hello straight away, and then get into an in-depth conversation. I remember one of the days we had a really good conversation with a gentleman by the name of Saeed. We're only meant to be in the sauna for 20 minutes. I think we accidentally stayed in there for 50. And so I had actually ended up being one of my motivations to keep with the no drinking because he talked about his journey, which has actually gone, I think it was close to 17 or 18 years now.
yeah.
So that was really cool. But yeah, it's really interesting. You meet people over there, and it was like one of the guys over there, Rick, who has like 30 or 40,000 followers on Instagram. And even he was extremely open to a conversation straight up. So even if you go there by yourself, I really think with the way the gyms are set out there, like the one we went to with Undefeated and Obsidian, I think everyone's open to a conversation over there, especially when you're in the same mindset, in the same frame.
Most certainly. And what it brings up to me is actually a really interesting moment I had with some tourists of Bali when I was first there. First, I was like 2 months into living there, and I met these guys all from Australia, and they're from Australia. And so they're there, classic boys weekend, just sinking drinks on the beach. And I sat down with them for about 5 to 10 minutes. And I had a quick phone call. I just ran off and was on the phone. And they just immediately, as soon as I got back, they started ragging on me. Oh, you're talking to your boyfriend. Oh, who's that? Who's that? And I was like, what the hell? And they were just continuously started picking on me. And it was just so interesting noticing how isolating they were, well, making me feel. And then in a completely different situation where there's people that are living in Bali, focusing on their business, focusing on what's good for them, that immediately are inclusive, immediately like, hey, get over here, let's talk about cool things, and able to go so deep with you. And it's just so interesting to notice the culture of back home, you could say, is that it's yeah, giving your mates shit, picking on them, making them feel small rather than bringing the best out of them. That's an interesting thing to notice.
100% like-minded people. And like, I think we do, one of the bad things we do in Australia is all that type of stuff where we isolate and pick on people and then we shadow it or we say it's character building. We're
Yeah,
character building you, where we're making you internally stronger by just ragging you out.
Yeah.
But in reality, it doesn't really help, right? Because you go back to even something as simple as the way you talk to yourself is important for your mindset. Well, that's no different to the way somebody else talks to you. Can get those thoughts into your head. Maybe I am like that. Maybe I am a drunk. Maybe I am this. So
Yeah.
hanging around the right people that, I don't know, yell at you to get you
Yeah.
into an ice bath
Yeah.
or make you do one more set at the gym or sit you down and have a good conversation about business triggers your own internals and be like, yeah, man, I want to get into that. I want to do that.
Mm.
So like before I went to Bali, for instance, I had one of our friends there, Azza, commits me to get into the ice bath. Now, being someone that doesn't like to see other people see me weak, I just hopped in, right? Never done one before. The first time I hopped in, I think I breathed so fast it wasn't funny. And then one of my other good friends taught me breathwork, so I managed to get it down. But from that was something really simple. And then we did that every single day. And then by the time we got to the temple tour, I could walk under the cold waterfall and my body wouldn't react. We'd already been doing that for 3 or 4 days. So simple stuff like that, just building up resilience,
And
is
how
way
echo.
better than hanging out with a group of, oh, right, it was so good. Rather than hanging out with people that tell you you're a pisshead. So then what do you end up doing? You end up drinking all the time.
Yeah.
So I'd rather hang out with people that help build up your resilience and build out your business and have those deep conversations. And it's actually one of my values is those conversations. I could stay up all night in those conversations.
Damn right.
Don't get me too fired up about it, but the Labor government's upsetting me at the moment, so we won't talk about investment.
Talking about international investments. And you're so right. It's wonderful to notice how by practicing really great behaviors like getting into the ice bath, talking about your business, going to the gym, and doing things that genuinely add to our progress in life, it's wonderful to notice how that ripples into different areas and what that gives us. I was right there with you. If I am usually the first person to be like, no, I'm not going anywhere near cold water. And doing that with you guys and having that encouragement was so epic. And I'm hungry for it so much right now in this moment. I'm like, I went to a gym today, it didn't have an ice bath. And I was like, oh, no, this is just not it. I need my ice bath. But it was so cool just noticing that it's the really great behaviors that genuinely add to us. They they transcend to different areas of life. It's really cool.
Extent. So like one of the biggest things I learned from the ice bath is that, for instance, when you get triggered by something clicked in me with the ice baths. And instead of reacting, I went straight to the box breathing, which is
Yeah.
what I was using in the ice baths to bring my calmness back down. So it's even in other areas of my life outside of that.
It's
You dropped out
amazing.
for a second then, so make sure you cut this bit out. I'm not sure. Yeah. So that helped greatly in other areas. Like if something triggered me, I just went, okay, I'm not going to react. I'm going to breathe for a couple of seconds. I'm going to sit with it and then process it and move on. And that was all from what, 5 minutes in a nice bath?
Yeah,
5 minutes to learn how to regulate your body. It was amazing.
literally. And it's getting our power back, certainly. Like I notice this for men that have a short fuse, and I can definitely be there sometimes. I'm with you. I like to say I'm a human behavior expert. I'm really in touch with my emotions, but that that wonderful expression of anger can slip up with me sometimes. And being caught in that reaction, going to the breath and calming my state, even in pain as well. Oh my goodness, being in a pain state and then just regulating my body, telling myself it's going to be okay. It's wonderful to see those carryover effects.
Absolutely amazing. It was definitely one of the biggest positives of the trip.
Yeah,
And
certainly.
something I'll continue to do. I've even joined up still waiting for that process to happen, but I've even joined up in a gym in my local area now that has all the wellness center stuff in it.
Hell yeah.
Being an old school, typical football guy, I thought that was all hocus pocus, but now it's definitely something I'll carry over to football training and a couple other things now with my guys that already do it, but now I'll be one of the coaches that helps him with them. So
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I won't be one of the do as I say, not as I do type guys, which would be
Yeah.
awesome. All
That's
from one trip to Bali.
yeah. Magical. And it's so not the usual, right? And that's where I think the best lessons are. So many people, particularly us Aussies, what do we see Bali as? We see it as an opportunity to go get slaughtered. We're focusing on beers, not business. And it sucks because what do? You hang out for a drink, you drink all night, and then the next day you just wait until you feel well enough to drink another beer. Like
or
it's
have another beer well enough.
yeah, tear of dog.
So, so I think my gaps between the trips, I think my last one was 2016 or 2017, and that was a
Mm.
very party drinking trip. It was a Bali trip.
Yeah.
Cuda. I think I went to the gym once, and that was about it. And then leading up to the trip, I was like, oh, I don't really want to be in this place because that's what everyone talks about. Well, I want to go. I don't know if I want to be there. Blah, blah, blah. It's like it's this environment. I'm not too sure. And then I get there and I go to these places and I meet guys like Brendan from Undefeated. I meet you guys. I meet the local dude at the coffee shop. And then when I'm sitting there working, and I know there's different wages and stuff over there, which leads to this. But then also because of the cheaper lifestyle, instead of me having to cook or clean or anything else, I can just nut down and concentrate on work and really bust it out and just get something delivered out of a very good price. Converting the currency can mess with you a bit, as you would know, because it's like it's in the millions, and then you convert it over and it's like $20 to have your breakfast delivered. So
Yeah.
no cleaning up, no cooking, no nothing, which then gives you probably an extra 30 or 40 minutes to concentrate on whatever you're working on and keeps you daily.
The value over
Perfect.
there stretches so far. Like, particularly for anybody who's starting up in business, there's two parts to it. It gives you so much more money to invest into your business. And also, as you're starting out earning lower numbers, it makes it more okay if a 2K, 3K month comes by, and that's AUD, you can still live off that. You can get by. You can survive on that. And those months happen. They're even coming at times. And so when we're in Bali, we're still in a wonderful place. We still get most of our things taken care of and have those lower months or have those months where we spend heaps of money on ads and it be okay. And we can still live like a life where it's, hey, I really love the lifestyle I get to live. I really love the place I get to be. Like, compare that because I had an interesting journey with Bali. I moved to Bali and I kind of had a combination of a typical Bali experience and also running my business. And I kind of stayed small because of that. I didn't really grow and get those consistent 10K months because I just wanted to party 3 to 4 times a week. So that it can get you, it can snag you because it did for me. And then I tried to move to Barcelona and I had 20K months, but I still felt so poor over there. I felt like I had nothing at all. And then when I came back to Bali, focused, locked in, was hitting those 28K up to 40K months. And the lifestyle just feels so great. In Barcelona, I'm in this crappy little apartment earning $23,000 a month, having to cook all my meals, having to go get all my stuff. And then in Bali, oh my God, I have 5K for the month. And it's like I still live in a 3-story place. All my laundry's done. I go and have some of the best food, don't have to cook. If I want to, I can. A gas stove literally costs $20 for a beautiful double gas stove, buy brand new. Like, the access and the value that's there is incredible. And I want to jump in and also mention something that I do not like is the water. I think that can suck, the water situation. But there's always ups and downs with everything. That can get to me. I don't want to be like it's all perfect because that can suck sometimes, the water and the barley belly. Oh,
Yeah, that's the risk that you take there. And to be fair, I wouldn't isolate that to Bali. There's plenty of
mm,
countries now that have issues with water throughout all of Southeast Asia and definitely some parts of Europe. You're talking about some countries are well and truly a lot older than Australia, so their piping systems. What are we actually putting into our system? So
Yeah,
I'm a fan of bottled water, whether I'm in Bali or Australia or anywhere. So
me too.
that wasn't a big one. But I guess when you go somewhere and you get an ice or something like that, I'm like, is it good? Isn't it good?
Yeah.
I got pretty lucky on my trip. I didn't end up with any barley belly. So that was pretty good. One of the other weird things that I found there too, especially after coming back home, was distractions. Like,
Mm.
it's really weird to say that I actually felt like I had less distractions in Bali than I do at home. And I don't know whether it's because I was hanging around with the right people or whatnot, but getting into the villa and just working, and you get into that really good routine. It's like gym, 6 a.m., get that out of the way, back by 7:30, start work at 8. Everything's delivered, right? So then you don't have the distraction of accidentally going to the cafe or going to the Woolworths or whatever else, and then order on the way back home. You just zeroed in. So it was really funny to say that I found to be less distractions.
Yeah. And there's so many things, depending on where you're at, of course, but there's so many things close by. And that's what I noticed the difference between Bali and Australia, the distance between things. That's huge for me. Like when it's like you arrive in Australia and you've got to drive so many kilometers from Melbourne back home, let's say, depending on where you're at. But in Bali, it's like you
Yeah.
arrive, you drive 10 minutes down the road and you're like, okay, there's all these shops here immediately, and you're in. And I find that
Mm.
so much in all the different areas. You go to wherever you're at, even up in Mangui, it's like, all right, we drive 5 minutes down the road, we'll get to a convenience store. We'll drive 2 minutes down the road, we'll walk 5 minutes down the road, there's a laundromat. It's fascinating.
Yeah. Same. 100%. And I think I talked to you about this before, right? It even, like, I needed an adapter to change so I could use my Australian plug over there. And then one of my friends over there started pointing out all these different hardware stores. So I chucked him in. I'm like, it's a 2 hour round trip or an hour and a half round trip. And I'm like, that's cool. And then I will work out my value per person hourly rate. And then I looked at Grab and I was like, $20, and it's going to save me 2 hours. Cool. So even simple things like that, it's very convenient over there.
Most certainly, particularly the transport, it's crazy where you're spending like a baseline on Uber is $10 and a baseline on Grab's about $1 to $2. It's just like it's ridiculous. And yeah, you can get almost anything delivered as well. I think it was on my last day, I got a package of all this medical stuff delivered and cost $20, and I got so much stuff. It was fantastic. But it was so just, yep, there you go, pay for that. It gets dropped off. And I've got all the medical things that I need for me and my partner. It's fantastic. Stuff like that. And then, oh man, don't get me started on the office supplies there. You can custom make desks that in Australia would cost $2,000 to $3,000 just for the wood alone. Then here, over there, it's literally like, all right, spend $300 for a custom built desk that's gorgeous with all the fittings you want on it, all this, all that, and it was like $300. It was fantastic. And that's 3 million IDR. So right now, that's close to 200 Australian dollars for a gorgeous, like mahogany, brushed down desk. It's phenomenal. The furniture over there can be gorgeous and amazing. I got me thinking, like, we got to ship this out. We got to talk to these guys. We'll do a deal. I'll buy that for 300. I'll ship it for you to 3,000. Oh my God. We got to set something like that up.
That was another thing that I found there too, while you're onto that, because I'm a bit of a fickler to the way I set up on my desk. I love my multi-screens and stuff. I actually found a couple of places over there that obviously there's a lot of remote jobs over there now with people that live there, such as yourself. And there's actually companies set up now that do hire out the monitors and all those sort of things with your docking station and everything else. And it's literally like $5 a week for a
Yeah.
monitor.
Yeah.
So instead of buying it yourself and then having to leave it behind, just hire it. And then if it breaks, you just get a new one. That was very similar to actually what I told my personal trainer who lives in Bali too. He's, oh, I've got my digital nomad license now, a visa, sorry, that now means I can go buy a bike. And then I was quickly to chime in. I'm like, cool, but if you buy a bike and it breaks down, you've got to get it fixed. it's still pretty cheap to rent a bike. And then if it breaks down, you just call up old mate and say, hey, come grab this bike and give me another one. And that's it, done.
Yeah.
So there's lots of good little benefits there that keep you going and help with both work and transport.
Yeah, particularly with the bike, like we were considering buying a bike ourselves. It would have been what I think we got it down pretty crazy, the price actually. We're going to get a brand new NMAX for $1,500. And so at the time he was giving it to us because we paid
Oh,
some
yeah.
rent on it too. But if you think about it after that, you're so right. If it breaks down, I've got to deal with it. And then if I ever want to leave, I've also then got to sell it. And then that can be frustrating too. And no, for the purpose of just getting around and just easily, I don't know, even renting something for 6 months and doing it for a bit longer and getting that discount, it's so much more viable for your situation because any moment you can just call up your guy, say, hey man, it's not working, give me a new one. Simple as that.
They do. They do. There was one day there, if you remember, I
Yeah.
was distracted and had a little coffee date, but left my lights on the bike. And it wasn't an issue for these guys. Oh, your lights on. Okay, no worries, Troy. Where is it? Took photo. They come and grab the key. They then came and grabbed that, swapped the bike over. Didn't charge me. Still just the normal day rate every day.
Yeah.
And done and fixed. Whereas if that was your bike, you'd be probably scrambling trying to get someone to come and change the battery or jump start or whatever you got to do for a moped. I've got no idea. I'm not a mechanic, but convenience, right? Convenience. So
Yeah.
the joys of just being sometimes renting isn't as bad as what you think, especially if it's somewhere where you don't know you're going to be permanent.
Yeah. And that duty of care, right? I'm not just gonna, oh, you're stuck. Oh, pay me 1 million, pay me $100 to sort you out. It's just, I'm here, I've got you back, done. And that the Balinese certainly have that, which is really lovely. And that's a wonderful thing too, the warmth. As you walk down the street, there is the element of everyone's trying to sell you something at times, but technically, who isn't? But it's the fun that they bring for it, the warmth they bring to it. Like everyone says hello. And even when they are trying to sell you something, they do something really funny with it. I remember this guy, he'd always want me to come into his shop. I'd walk by almost every day. And he goes, oh, come into my shop. I'll give you a free look. Oh, free look. I can look for free. Oh my God. I
What a
love
guy.
that.
That's some experience for you, isn't it? He's working out ways, little triggers. As soon as we hear free, it stops us in our footsteps. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
free. And then you're like, oh, free, look, you got me.
Yeah.
You got me.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, can I have free shoes? No, it's
Free shoes.
the
Probably not.
warmth over there is really nice within the people, and that genuinely that duty of care, and that you don't need to pay me. It's just yeah, that's my job. I love that. I really love that. It taught me how to show up in my business too, because we've met through some people that can be considered quite money hungry, and I don't like how so many people can operate that way. Or that, yeah, that's going to be $20. Oh yeah, and that extra is going to be $5,000. It's like, what the fuck? I invested for this. What the hell? I thought I'd get the full package there. What's going on? And it just shows how we can show up in business so greatly. The duty of care. I will do whatever it takes for you because you're one of my people. That I love that.
Yeah, 100%.
Certainly learned that over there in Bali.
Even the going back to living arrangements and all that sort of stuff. Like I know it's once again different incomes and different GDPs, but even compared to Australia now with some of the taxation laws, like one of my good friends, I won't mention his name, but he's now decided that he's now main base and going to live there. He did a trip to Dubai first and set up a company there, which was made me panic when I looked at my bank statements the other day and I'm like, what's but just interesting compared to Australia. I think a lot of people, especially like in business now with the recent changes, are looking for other options now. I think we've had some discussions about different countries to start businesses, one being Dubai. What was the other one you mentioned? Georgia was another one.
Japan.
I'm not too sure. Yeah, Japan's not too bad, but I do remember you saying about Japan, it was, even though it's a very nice country, yeah.
Actors can eat you up, but the property real estate game is still very powerful.
Mm.
And yeah, great way to do some things. And then Malaysia's also pretty good, particularly for foreign people coming there and owning homes. That can be another downside to Bali is, yeah, the home ownership. That can suck. And so, yeah, doing that right, I think is really important. And then also, I don't know, for me, Bali is like, I love the idea of where, because I've spent, I think, up to almost 3 years living there now. And so in that experience, I've got a place, I'm renting it for a long term, and I've bounced around. And it's actually really nice to have those bounce around moments where you can go experience different villas that are really nice. Even if you live 6 weeks here and then 6 weeks there, it's really good. So yeah, the property situation can suck there when it comes to investment, but certainly I like that lifestyle, bouncing around.
Yeah, even until you do find the correct spot, right? And there's that really helps you find the area where you're going to be the most optimized. You could go get a villa in Kuta.
Yeah.
Now, you were there in your early 20s. You probably lost a lot of mornings and evenings. But then when you start to venture out, you start to discover these other places, like you went up to the east of Kanju, Mangu, and all those areas, completely different people. And then you're like, oh, well, I'll get a villa here and I'll hang out here for a little while. And then all of a sudden you start discovering all these different areas. Now, obviously, there's other areas that are just a little bit saturated now, and you'll get the different salespeople other than the shop ones. Is that
Uluwatu, and there's also
Uluwatu?
in Canggu, the heart of Canggu,
Yeah,
that is Russia Town now.
Russia Town. See, that wouldn't be too bad. They're not going to push sales up, but Uluwatu, you'll probably end up pretty ironic. But all those people, they're going to definitely put sales pitches on you without realizing that you're in the same field of work. And man, I'm just here to hang out with you and be motivated, not be
A
sold
client.
into something that I already do.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
can be quite cool. But I definitely think the advantage of not necessarily buying anywhere too quick, lease, by the way, allows you to explore those areas till you find that one area where you are at the most optimized.
Yeah.
Which that area where we were, I felt I could get a lot of that done.
Yeah.
Why? I was away from everything. There was still some big enough supermarkets around to get stuff done. Awesome gym, not too busy. And if I did want to go somewhere a little bit more exciting, it was like an hour on the scooter.
Yeah. Not even. Like,
$3 of fuel. Now, I'd rather live somewhere like that with the option to go take an hour to go somewhere else than live somewhere else and have to travel an hour to get peace.
yeah.
Much different mindset and lifestyle. So that would definitely be the advantage of getting to choose and build until you want to lock down. And also, I think we also had that discussion too, where I was talking about you wouldn't necessarily, and someone's going to see this and try and get me wrong, but I wouldn't necessarily invest when you're looking at investing in Bali. I think we're investing in properties and whatnot in Bali. I think I was having a chat to you about it last week, and someone's definitely going to try and correct me on this. There's one person in particular, I can't remember his name, got the glasses, the bald guy, absolutely hates Australia at the moment, with all due reason. It affects his business and the way he invests. But to me, with the way that, and you've actually told me about some experiences with this, like Bali, you don't actually own anywhere. To me, I would definitely want to have some investments first before buying anything in Bali. To me, buying anything in Bali would strictly be home based without the intention of anything else. It's not going to be, ironically, the one. It will disappear. Or you have to renew your lease, which it could be even more. But yeah, I would definitely want a couple of properties or shares somewhere else that would just pay for the property and you just get to live there. And that's if you wanted somewhere to base yourself from. I wouldn't necessarily go and buy something straight up.
It's a
But
cherry
yeah,
on
what's
top.
your, yeah, I would
It's a
say
cherry
so.
on top of it. Because, like, when you can take the risk that the investment could blow up in your face, you could lose $200,000, and that risk is not as a problem for you, particularly, let's say, a high performance trader losing 600 grand in a matter of seconds can happen, right? And so if you've made $20,000 in trading, let's say, and you've claimed it, you've got it, investing $200,000 in a property that you've got for 99 years that you can put on Airbnb And for example, if the government or the person who did own the place cancelled your lease or it was a scam or any way, because that can happen within Bali, you're used to that level of investing. But if it's like someone like myself, I'm looking to buy my first home right now, Bali is not it. I almost considered it, to be honest, but I had some really good people. A guy that was a man who'd been living there for a few years. He's a French guy, has an Indonesian wife, and he was somebody I believed I could trust. And so that also exists there. It's possible to do that. And if you find the right people, I think you can create a really great relationship. An Indonesian family that needs the extra money, that just needs that help, they could be really people that you can trust. But
Yeah.
they're, yeah, maybe some random person who's just got this nice booklet and got the keys to the place and says, yep, transfer the money now, transfer the money now, transfer the money now. Could be a bit risky.
Yeah. A deal you can't miss.
Yes, yes. And so
Yeah.
places like
Yeah.
Japan and Malaysia that actually allow foreigners to own the home, be on the title, and not just, yeah, just like it's a lease. It's actually you are the owner, you own the land, you own the property. That gives me, as a first home buyer, a lot more security. But yeah, definitely if it's another one of your 10, 15, 20 investments, we can look at it a bit differently.
Yeah, I guess with investments too, the way I think about it with that sort of stuff, like my first couple of investments, when I do meet someone and decide to have a family, at least I have a little bit of assurance that I can pass those properties on to the future generation. Whereas in Bali, you're like, well, we can live in it, but when you get older, you're going to have to go live somewhere else. And I don't know what's going to happen to our property because the lease will be finished. It's definitely, especially with how quick inflation and everything's going up, you definitely want to have some sort of mindset around having something that you can pass on to your next generation, especially if you want to have a family. So even having one property to pass on, because for instance, if we look at Penrith, out the western suburbs of Sydney, I saw this the other day, so this actually stuck to my brain. 2000, maybe 1999, buy a house out there for about 140,000. Now it's sitting at 1 million, and they reckon in the next 20 years, it'll be sitting around $8 or $9 million. So over 40 years, that's ridiculous. When you think about the next generation, that is something, even though I don't have a partner and I don't have children, I have invested with the forefront of my future family to be able to pass something on to them because I believe it will be extremely hard for the next generation to be able to buy property.
Yeah.
Extremely hard.
And I really admire your values there. And it's so true. The percentage of the real estate is going up a whole lot more than minimum wage.
So speaking to that, there's another interesting fact. And I know you've read a lot of books, but probably not necessarily on this. So my grandparents, for instance, when they first bought their property in the 60s or 70s, your average house to average wage was 3 to 1. So whatever the average salary was, 3 times that, you got a house. Pretty cool. Not a bad ratio. This allowed that previous generation to allow mother to stay at home, the father works. It was pretty cool. And then somewhere along the lines, inflation shot up. Just before COVID, we're at 9 to 1, which your internet just dropped. You're going fuzzy.
Am I here?
Yep, just now you're back.
Okay.
That's right. I know what I thought too. And then just before COVID, our ratio then snuck to 9 to 1. So average salary 9 times to get into a property. Now, I've been well and truly too scared to look at this ratio now. I reckon it would be somewhere between 12 and 14 times the average salary to now get a house. You see some ridiculous figures around people needing, in Australia, for instance, people needing to save up $100,000 or $200,000 for a deposit for a house. Who
Deposit.
can do that? Just a deposit. If you want 20% deposit, some banks do want that. 200 grand. If you can get away with a 10% deposit, 100 grand, but then your repayments are going to be pretty well up there. So
There's so many things that are like taking from our everyday dollar that to actually save that much money. So many people are financially illiterate It's literally like talking another language. And to save up that much money, let alone the money they are already getting loans on to get the smaller things in life, a car, even furniture, stuff like that. They're chucking all on the credit card.
Education for their children. When I was back at school, I don't want to say how old I am. We were pretty simple. We had textbooks and we had pen and paper. Now, some of my friends now talk about their kids need to have a iPad to go to school
Yeah,
because now all the textbooks and everything are downloadable books.
yeah.
So you got to drop a G or $1,500 on the iPad. So something.
Frozen. I am back.
But
Hello.
yeah,
Oh, so I heard a lot of what you said there. Like particularly my school, I was at the generation where it was like the crossover. Primary school didn't have any of that, but then high school, I had to buy a MacBook. It was like part of the
and
school
the bottom
fees to get a MacBook specifically because all the techs were Mac people, all the tech guys. Everyone had MacBooks, every single person did, and then we upgraded when we got to year 10. And so stuff like that where, yeah, it's completely different ball game to raise a child now. Completely.
interesting. I haven't looked at this fact in a while. Like I know for my generation, they used to talk, it used to be like 250,000 around about to raise a kid. I would be
I've
pretty
heard it was a
scared to
million.
see what
I
a
heard it was a
million now.
million. Yeah. To get to 18.
So, so no pressure to the world, but one child, $1,000,000 to raise. If you want to buy a house, you need to save up 200 grand for a deposit. Now, on average, I've seen that can take anywhere up to 20 years. So if we go back to my previous discussion, that $1 million house, by the time you save up your deposit, is now $8 million, which now
Mm.
means you probably need $1 million for a deposit. Hey, no pressure.
No pressure. And
No pressure. Get
no
it done.
pressure at all. Just chill. And then, like, when you speak of raising a child, but this is where it's so valuable to have places like Bali, places like Koh Samui, Thailand. There's international schools. And so, actually raising your child, the biggest expense might be that bigger, better school for their education, and their lifestyle is taken care of so much easier. The international school in Koh Samui is beautiful, lovely school. I'd be proud to send my kids there. And then lifestyle. You spend $4 for a lovely main meal at a restaurant.
Yeah. And if you've already got those investments that are bringing you in that residual income, it's probably not a bad option to give a better quality life to you and your family.
Damn right.
You can have those investments and probably still live in Australia and have not much left over and live a, a reasonable life, but not have any luxuries.
No.
Or rent those investments out or live off those dividends and then go to somewhere like Koh Samui and have a lot more free time because there may be things like your washing that you get taken care of, similar to what we're talking about with Bali. Your international school, you probably have a driver that takes your kids to and from school. So there'd be a lot more free time, better quality. And then obviously your location, beautiful beaches and everything else.
On a gorgeous tropical island.
And then when your kids grow up, you can send them back to those investment properties that want to come to Australia and you can retire in Koh Samui. Done. Dusted.
Beautiful. And
Keep coming.
yeah, excellent. And the online space is just so wonderful now that we can access money and even we can access our jobs. If we've got a job where most of our time's on a bloody computer anyway, even if it's in an office, we can demand to go remote and demand to be in any part of the world. As long as I show up and I deliver the results that you need me to, I'll live anywhere. Thank you very much. And that's become so much more open for so many of us. And I know both of us have had an experience of that and now can go live in Bali. And then now, for me, I've created it so it doesn't matter who I work for me. So I work for my
Yeah,
clients, obviously. That's the
that's
biggest thing.
really good situation being
But that's where
100%.
I can bounce around. I can go, all right, I'm doing Europe now. I'm flipping the time zones. I can go to Japan and say, hey, I'm only an hour behind, or Bali, I'm 2 hours behind. It's the wonderful freedom to live untethered.
Yeah, it's ironic that you just talked about Europe. I went over there, so I was on annual leave from work, but we had a couple of important tenders pop up, which you've experienced with me with my work. I've run off on the group and done what I had to do. But in particular, I was like, I wonder what it would be like to attempt a work day or two over in Europe, I found it very hard because it was the complete opposite time. So I remember, for instance, getting up and doing a toolbox with my guys on the gas plant. I think I had to get up at midnight or somewhere or 10 p.m. And then it absolutely ruined me for the rest of the week. So I think if you are lucky enough where your work allows you to work remote and all that sort of stuff, obviously the number one thing is tax and being in a country that allows you to do that and making sure you're on the correct visa so you don't get kicked out, but also time zones, because there really is no point working remote if you're still going to burn yourself out because you're getting up at midnight to do calls and then your day's gone anyway. You might as well just stay where you are.
Yeah.
So really looking at those sort of places, and there's a couple of countries that are closer that we were talking about where it might only be 5 or 4 hours difference. Georgia,
Yeah.
accessibility would be a bit close. I believe we had discussions about Vietnam, but they're starting to
They're trying to
clamp down
crack
a little
down.
bit.
And speaking of calendars, I wanted to add to that quickly. When you control your current calendar though, and you decide when and where things go, that's also really powerful too. Because when I was in Spain, I planned my calendar to, I was working with people at nighttime in Australia, which was beneficial for me because that was at like 9, 10, 11. So when you are in charge of your calendar and where your meetings go, that also helps a lot as well.
100%. I reckon you could live anywhere then. Because I think I even looked at that. If I was to ever start a business myself and get it off the ground and running, obviously, that I've got family and people that I hold in high regard in Belgrade, in Serbia, and I love the place. I was like, this is easy. If I don't have a 9 to 5 and it's my business, I can do Australian morning meetings at nighttime and vice versa. And the rest of my time's still free and I don't change my sleeping pattern.
No.
And I'm still in a beautiful country. So those kind of things did excite me. That would be pretty cool. Okay, I need, outside of my 9 to 5, I need to do my 5 to 9 and really bust my ass so that, I can get into that situation and go spend some quality time with you guys, my family in Serbia. Hell, man, during the NFL season, maybe I'll go live in San Francisco for a couple months and check out some games and have that freedom. So
it's possible, right? It's possible. That's what the internet has given us. It's given us that ability. And I truly believe having that level of freedom, having that level of access is something more and more people deserve to have. And I am very grateful that I have it now. I don't take it for granted. And I also acknowledge myself. I didn't just fucking show up. It took 9 years to get this life and a lot of hard work. And no, it's a very precious thing, my friend. I reckon we'll close it there for today. And when I've got some better internet as well, we will rev this up again. Do you want to let anybody know about anything or pitch anything, my friend?
At the moment, as I have started a bit of a community for guys in Australia at the moment. I've got about 10 guys on there called the Legacy Lock-In. I'll just go to the correct way. Obviously, I need to go the opposite way of my camera. Throws me off. It's been really good. It's just the beginnings of this journey. I've got some really good guys on there that I'm obviously helping me hone my skills, and also that is giving them a lot of guidance and helping them all improve, which I'm pretty excited about. So anyone that hops onto my Instagram, Wykes on Purpose, you'll see the way it's driven at the moment. And then there's some links on there. You can go check out my website and have a look and scope out what I'm all about. It should be amazing.
Hell yeah. And if you're watching this on my channel right now, check the description below. You'll be able to see Troy's different social links there, and you'll be able to see that and be a part of Legacy Lock-In. If you're a man who's really needing that support, that guidance, that discipline, mindset, wealth, health, all those things and more, check them out.
Beautiful. Thanks, Harry. Really appreciate the call tonight, and really appreciate this is how we've turned our Friday nights now.
Hey,